Hello, I'm Kate, the Daily Tarot Girl, and in this video, I am participating in a tarot tag. So the tarot tag is hashtag decks to calm the nervous system. And I want to give a shout out to Donna from Artists and Oracle for creating this tarot tag. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be sharing all the decks in my tarot collection that help me calm my nervous system. And I think this is something we probably could all use a lot more of, I'm guessing. So I can't wait to get into this with you. I've got, actually, I'll just show you, I'll give you a sneak peek of some of the decks I'm going to be featuring here. Oh, here's my microphone. So here's some of the decks I'm going to be talking about. There's I think 9 or 10 decks in total. And there's 9 prompts. So I'm going to read you the prompts first, and I've chosen a deck for each prompt or each question. So the first prompt is a deck that instantly soothes my nerves. The second is a deck that helps me to feel all my feelings, the comfortable, the painful, and the confusing. I'm also going to post these questions below this video as well. The third one is a deck that reconnects me with my physical body. The fourth is a deck that allows me to harness the power and protection of the 4 elements. Number 5, a deck that helps me to breathe deeply and fully. Number 6, a deck that regulates by connecting me with nature and helping me to ground my energy. Number 7, a deck that refocuses me on my own present moment reality and my personal truth. Number 8, a deck that reflects my innate spiritual power and wisdom. And number 9, a deck whose beauty is so divine that it transmutes any darkness and reconnects me to my heart. So those are the prompts. And I want you to think, what decks do you have in your collection that help you calm down, that just feel very gentle, that just help you breathe, connect to your body, connect to the present moment? And if you feel like sharing in the comments below while you're watching, please feel free. Okay, so the first prompt is a deck that instantly soothes my nerves. And as soon as I read this right away, I thought Lightseer's Tarot. And then I thought, but also the Everyday Witch Tarot. So I chose 2 decks for this prompt. And that was my biggest problem with all these prompts, is it was hard for me to just narrow it down to just one deck. So I'm going to start with the Lightseer's Tarot. So the Lightseer's Tarot is a deck by Chris and Donna. And I'm going to just give you a little peek so you see what these cards look like. So the Lightseer's Tarot is one of my go-to decks. It's a deck that I use a lot. And if I could only choose one deck to work with forever and ever and ever, it might be this deck. It's hard for me to pick because I have so many wonderful decks, but this might be one of them. So some of the cards are reversed. So I love this deck because, number 1, there's no borders on the cards, which I love. The artwork is just so divine, so delicious. It's so colorful. The images they're relatable, yet they feel otherworldly. They feel kind of like, especially this one, like this is death rebirth. I mean, that's amazing. I love that. Like, I think that's like probably the coolest death card that I have out of all my decks. And I just feel like there's something about whenever I read with this deck, I feel supported. Like, I just feel like I'm sitting down with like an elder who is like very loving and compassionate and wise. And I just feel like I'm being embraced and like I'm supported. There's something inspiring about these cards, but there's definitely something like very calming about this deck. Okay, so I've given you a little peek. Now, the other deck that I chose for this prompt, a deck that instantly soothes my nerves, is the Everyday Witch Tarot. And the reason the Everyday Witch Tarot instantly soothes my nerves is because it feels fun and it feels playful. Okay, so this is what the box looks like. This is a deck by Deborah Blake, and the art is by Elizabeth Elba. I always want to say Jessica Elba, Elizabeth Elba. So the backs are really fun. And again, this is another deck that doesn't have borders. I love decks with no borders. And there's witches and cats on all the cards. And I just love this deck so much. It feels fun. It feels playful. The images are so easy to engage with, and it's just it's a fun deck to read with, and it always feels kind of gentle, and I love this one. This is a good one. Death, the fraying cord, the two doorways in the background. I feel like my fingers are getting in the way of these cards. Oh, I love this one. Okay, this is the High Priestess. She's a tarot reader. So yeah, Everyday Witch is definitely a really fun deck. The cards to me feel friendly. They feel gentle. And again, this is a deck that really helps me soothe my nerves if I'm stressed out. Okay, so tarot prompt number 2 is a deck that helps me to feel all my feelings, the comfortable, the painful, and the confusing. For this one, again, it was kind of a no-brainer. Right away, I thought Modern Love Tarot. So I chose the Modern Love Tarot. This is a deck by Donna, and the art is by Lucy Morningstar. And this is kind of I would call this sort of a relationship-y deck. It depicts a lot of relationships and dynamics, interpersonal dynamics. And first of all, here's what the card backs look like. And I think this deck is so beautiful. The artwork is so colorful, bright, juicy. Again, no borders. something you'll notice in a lot of the decks that I've chosen. And I find this deck to be very down to earth, and I feel like it depicts feeling and emotion really well. And so when you look at some of these cards, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. I get what's going on here. I can connect to the emotional element behind the card. And I'm just waiting for the right card for me to use as an example of what I just said. Well, here, this one's great. 9 of Pentacles, like she's just feeling the sun on her face. She's like in the present moment. I'm not going to show you the whole deck. I'm just going to show you a few cards. Oh, I love the star. The star is so beautiful. So yeah, this is definitely a deck that really helps me connect to that emotional realm and to my feelings, whether they're positive, negative. There's one one card in particular that really depicts an emotion well. I'm just gonna see if I can find it because it's such a good one. I think it's the 8 of Cups. Okay, let's see. It's somewhere here. 3 of Cups. I love this one. It's fun. 10 of Wands. I can relate to that, feeling like you have a lot on your plate. Oh, 2 of Swords is a standout. I feel like it's gonna take me like 5 hours to get through this video. There's so much I want to share. And I can't. Oh, here it is. Okay, 8 of Cups. I just feel like the emotion is on her face. It's very, very obvious. Okay, so that was my pick for the second prompt. And then the third prompt is a deck that reconnects me with my physical body. And you'll never guess what deck I chose for this one. I chose a deck that I think is a very underrated deck that isn't that well known, but it's amazing. It's one of my favorite decks, and it's called The Cook's Tarot, and it's by Judith McKay Sturt. So she did all the artwork and design for this tarot. And it helps me connect to my body because it's all about food. And nothing helps me connect to my body more than eating and preparing good food. So I'm going to show you what this deck looks like. And this deck is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I think this is probably up there with one of my favorite tarot decks in my collection. Okay, so the card backs look like this. And it's so bright and beautiful. No borders. The cards are quite big and they're glossy. And each card depicts some sort of food or beverage. And it's such a witty deck. Like, it's just like really well thought out, and it's really cute and it's fun. It reads really well. It's easy to read with. The imagery is like such a joy to contemplate, and it really does help me connect to my body, to the earthly realm. I love the Three of Cups here. 3 women enjoying tea. And it's humorous too. Like, some of the cards are kind of funny and kind of crack me up a little bit. Okay. So the next prompt is prompt number 4, or wait, did I skip one? No, I'm on prompt number 4 now. Okay. A deck that allows me to harness the power and protection of the 4 elements. This was a tricky one. I struggled with this one because I wasn't really sure if I understood the prompt, but a deck that allows me to harness the power and protection of the 4 elements. And I went with the Crystal Visions Tarot. Now, as you can see, the box for this deck is a little beat up. That's because I have used this deck a lot. And this deck actually did have borders, but I cut them all off with a paper slicer, with a paper cutter. So the cards look a lot smaller than they were when I first got them, because I really cut them down. But I feel like this deck really illustrates the difference between the 4 suits really well. So here we have wands, and wands are depicted, with that fieriness. And then we've got pentacles. There's a lot of like greenery with the pentacles, a lot of nature. Swords is kind of cold and airy, has a real cool feel. 2 of Cups, very watery, has kind of a purpley, pinky kind of glow to it. So I feel like this deck, out of all my decks, I think does such a good job of really differentiating between the energy of the 4 different elements and the different suits. And of course, the artwork is beautiful. And this is one of those decks that just does feel very gentle, but also kind of fun, kind of playful. When you're reading with this deck, it's like you're entering into, the realm of fairy tales and castles. And it's a nice deck to read with if you're frazzled and you're stressed and you just want to read with a deck that is kind of gentle and helps calm your mind and your soul. Okay, so the next tarot prompt is a deck that helps me to breathe deeply and fully. And for this one, I actually chose 2 decks. I tried narrowing it down to 1 and I couldn't. So I chose 2 decks. So the first deck is the Spacious Tarot. The second deck is the Genius Garden Tarot. So let's start with the Spacious Tarot. So the Spacious Tarot is a deck by Carrie Mallon, and the art is by Annie Ruget. And this is a really sweet, lovely, lovely deck. So the card backs look like this. And again, no borders. That's my favorite thing about all these decks, no borders. And there's no people on any of these cards. And you might kind of call this deck sort of a pip deck because the minor arcana especially are very sparse, like it's sparsely illustrated, hence the name, the Spacious Tarot. And there is something about these cards that, look at the moon. Oh, that's so beautiful. There's something about these cards that do invite spaciousness. There is something calming about this deck, and it does help me breathe more deeply and more fully whenever I sit with these cards. Like, this is really quite something, I think. That's a really neat High Priestess card. And then the other deck that I chose for this is the Genius Garden Tarot. And the Genius Garden Tarot is a deck by Jesse Huntenberg, Genius Garden Tarot. And again, this is another deck that helps me breathe deeply and fully. There's something calming about this deck, and when I show you the cards, you'll probably see why. So there's something very simple and uncomplicated about the artwork on this deck that I really appreciate. And I just feel like it's a relaxing deck to read with. And it is a deck that feels, spacious. Again, no borders. I love that. No borders on the cards. Very colorful, bold artwork, but it feels calming. I feel like I can breathe when I read with this deck. Okay. All right. So, and I should have said at the beginning of the video, but I will list all the decks that I am talking about in the description below this video. So the next tarot tag is, tag number 6, or prompt number 6. A deck that regulates by connecting me with nature and helping me to ground my energy. Okay, I knew right away when I read this prompt, I'm like, I know what deck I'm going to choose for this one. The Druidcraft Tarot. So the Druidcraft Tarot is such a gorgeous deck. It's so beautiful, but it very much connects the reader to nature when you read with this book. So I'm going to unpack this deck here and I will show you what the cards look like. Okay, so this is what the card backs look like. I love the card backs. And these cards are quite big. Now, this deck actually does have borders, unfortunately, but I feel like it's okay. It doesn't take away from the beauty of these cards. So this is Ace of Cups. Like, look how beautiful that is. That's so stunning. Like, the artwork is just absolutely gorgeous. This is the Devil, Cernunnos. Like, it's so atmospheric, but it really does connect you with nature. There is something very grounding about this deck. This was one of the first decks I bought when I was learning tarot, and I connected with it right away. And I don't actually use it that much anymore, but I should, because it's an amazing deck. Like, this is the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like all the cards depict outdoor scenes in nature. And the cards are big enough that it kind of feels like you're sort of stepping into the card when you're reading it. Like it has that ability, like the cards feel like doorways or portals into another realm. Ooh, the moon. Okay. So the next tarot prompt is prompt number, actually we're getting there. We're getting down the list despite me going really slow. So the next prompt is number 7, a deck that refocuses me on my own present moment reality and my personal truth. Okay, I'll have to read that again. A deck that refocuses me on my own present moment reality and my personal truth. Okay, so for this one, I chose the Bone Stone and Earth Flesh Tarot. And I actually need to do an unboxing video for this deck. I haven't yet. But I've just been working with this deck for my own personal readings. I love it. This is a deck by Avalon Cameron, and the art is by Anna Touraine. And I'm going to show you what the card backs look like. So very pretty. And this is another borderless deck that has beautiful bright colors. And I'm just finding this deck to be an absolute joy to work with. The cards are a little different. I mean, there is some Rider-Waite imagery, but it's not what I would call a Rider-Waite clone. Like the cards are quite different, and some of the images, you know, really invite contemplation, and I love that about this deck. But you might be wondering, well, how does it refocus? How does it help you refocus on the present moment and your personal truth? And I'm not sure. All I know is that when I read with this deck, there's one card that keeps coming up all the time. And when we get to it, I'll point it out. But it's just so funny. I just feel like this deck, I just feel like I've really like energetically and spiritually connected with this deck. So when I'm reading with it, it feels a little eerie. Like it does feel like I'm having a conversation with someone. And I feel like this deck just really gets me. And you know what I mean. Like you probably have a deck like this as well. And if you don't, then I hope that you find a deck that does this for you. This one's great. 7 of Cups, the Charlatan. Okay, I'm just going to pick out some of my favorite cards to show you in this deck. Ace of Pentacles. I always think this is the Death card, and then I'm like, oh no, it's the Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, Ace of Cups. Beautiful. Wheel of Fortune is the Weavers, the 3 Fates. Oh, 9 of Swords. I'm just showing you like every card here. Yeah, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. I'm not really sure how it connects me to the present moment, but I do feel like I'm able to like have an honest conversation with my deeper self when I'm reading with this deck. 6 of Pentacles. And I don't know if I would call this deck necessarily like a real gentle deck. It kind of is. It feels friendly for the most part, but it sometimes can be, you know, it sometimes has harsh truths as well. It's not, I wouldn't call it like a super soft and fluffy deck by any means, but it's a wonderful deck to work with. Okay, so prompt number 8 is a deck that reflects my innate spiritual power and wisdom. All right, and for that prompt, I chose the This Might Hurt Tarot. Oh, and I just want to show you the box. So when you unpack this, there's like another box that slides out. And then like the inside of the box is illustrated, which I think is so cool. Okay, so this deck, this is also a go-to deck for me, and I use this deck all the time. And I find that this deck works really good when I'm reading tarot for other people, as well as self-readings. And the prompt was a deck that reflects my innate spiritual power and wisdom. And I do feel like this deck helps me kind of connect to my inner wisdom. I feel like this deck is particularly good at giving me new ideas for things and kind of inspiring me and helping me think of solutions to problems and kind of think outside the box and get kind of different ideas on how to move forward or how to do things differently. And I just love the artwork. The artwork is very relatable. It just feels like people that I might know kind of doing day-to-day things. Well, maybe except for this lady. She's all tied up. I don't usually do that on a day-to-day basis. High Priestess, love her. So yeah, I find that the images to me feel very clean and clear and bright and easy to connect with. Okay, so last tarot prompt. We're at the very end already. I should make my own tarot prompt video with my own prompts. I might do that maybe next week or the week after. So this last prompt is a deck whose beauty is so divine that it transmutes any darkness and connects me to my heart. I had a hard time picking just one deck for this because I have a lot of decks that I think are absolutely beautiful and, you know, really, really gorgeous. And the deck I chose is the drumroll Cosmic Wisdom Tarot. So I love this deck. This has been one of my go-to decks. I have about 5 decks that I would call, you know, my go-to decks. So it would be Lightseer's Tarot, Everyday Witch Tarot, This Might Hurt Tarot, Cosmic Wisdom Tarot, and I think there's another tarot deck somewhere that I would consider a real go-to deck. But yeah, I think this deck is fantastic. The artwork is beautiful. Now, this is a deck that's by Donna, and art is by James Fenner. So card backs, absolutely stunning. And there are borders on these cards, but they're dark in color and they're quite small. So I find that they don't annoy me like in other decks. So yeah, I just think that the art is stunningly beautiful and it does connect me to my heart. I do feel inspired and connected and in awe when I look at these cards. I just think that the colors are so rich and juicy and beautiful. And yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite decks. So let me know in the comments, do you have any of these decks? Let me know. And I want to know, like, let me know the name of a deck, or, you know, if you can think of multiple decks that really help you calm your nervous system. What decks help you calm down? What decks help you center your energy and connect to your heart and, you know, breathe more deeply? I'd love to know. So let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and joining me as I went through all these prompts for this tarot tag video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. It really helps my channel out. See you next time.